today we're going to make the air clay dough for our activity. Here's the recipe. And now I'll show you how to do it. It's an easy project. You can do it with your parents. You take 1 cup of baking soda, put it in the bowl, 1/4 cup of cornstarch, put it in the pot, and 3/4 cup of water. Stir that until it dissolves, which doesn't take long at all. It'll look like milk, a little thicker than milk. All right, there we go. So now it's all stirred in. Now we're gonna cook it. I put it on the fire on medium to high. Now this, you have to stir a lot. So you need to stay right beside it. The first minute you don't have to stir it a lot, but after that it will take, you'll have to stir it constantly so that it doesn't stick to the pan. Non-stick pan works best, I think. Now let it cook a little bit. See the bubbles forming? All right, now I'm starting to feel it. I can start feeling it getting thicker. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. Now you can see, that's why you got to stir a lot. It sticks to the pan if you don't. And while you're doing this part, it should be definitely on medium to low heat. You have to get boiling at first, but then as soon as it starts to thicken, then you turn it down to the medium. So now it looks almost like paste. That we only need another minute, maybe less. Okay, now it's done. You can put it on wax paper, or you can put it, I put it right on the granite, but you can put it on wax paper for less mess, or if you're worried about it being sticky, since you haven't tried this yet. I've done this a few times, so I know how to cook it. Because that's usually the problem people run, is they didn't cook it long enough, and that's when it's sticky. But if you cooked it long enough, then you usually don't have that problem. If you do, you can always add some more cornstarch to it. Knead it in, and that will solve any sticky problems. Okay. Now this part is a little hot, so depending on your hand, you might want to wait a minute or two before you start kneading it, but you do need to knead it like bread. Yeah, it's sticking to the spoon, so I better wait a second. Ooh. And like I said, at home you would wait longer. I don't want to make the video too long, but you would keep kneading it Until you got the right consistency of like Play-Doh. I'm gonna let that cool a little bit because it really is hot. But the activity I wanted you to do with it, now this is called air clay dough, so this is dough that's meant to dry out. So you need to put it in a Tupperware container right away if you're not using it. But with all our leftover Easter eggs, I thought another way to reuse our Easter eggs. I wanted people to try to build a tower with Easter eggs. So I'm going to take my Easter egg and I'm going to stick it to another Easter egg. There we go. And then I'm going to take a third Easter egg. There we go. And stick this one to it. All right, so now I got a base. And then I can take more of my dough and I can go upwards. So, and you can go out sideways. Oops. You do have to make sure your eggs are on good. These eggs seem to be a little flimsy. There we go. All right. Yeah, so learn from my mistake. Make sure your eggs are in there really good and closed. Otherwise, it'll fall apart on you. Like this one just did to me. So, all right, there we go. Then I add another one to the top. And you just keep building. You can build around, you can build out. You know, you might have to hold it there for a minute to let it, you know, like set in. But otherwise, you should be able to add them on without a lot of trouble. So I think actually you might need to let each layer dry. I'm having a hard time building the next layer. So learn from my mistakes again. You might have to let that dry and then build up. But let it dry only like 5 minutes. 5 minutes should do it, and then you can go up. So I hope you like our activity. I hope you like the air clay dough. You can also use the air clay dough to make stuff. You can make a dog. You can make anything you want. It molds really nice. And you can stick it together. And then you just have to set it out on the counter and it'll dry hard and then you'll have it forever. I hope you like the activity. See you next time.